card number 2 of my Halloween series. So I stamped the MFT Bewitching Alamode stamp onto some Copa cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. And as always, I am starting with her skin, so just starting with the E50 and then adding a little bit of E21 to the darker areas, and then finally my E13 as my darkest shade, and then I always blend out that with the E21 again, and then finally blend everything together with the E50. So once I've got all of that blended, super quick and simple, especially on a kind of a smaller image like this. And then I go on to her hair. So I'm using YR12, laying down my base, and then I did her hat band and then the stripes on her leggings with the same colors, and then I went in with the YR14 and then just blended them together. I could have added a third color for a bit more dimension, but I was happy with how that looked, so I just left it as is. And then for all of the black areas, I'm just using grays for all of that. So went in with C5 first, laid that down, added some C7, and then finally going in with C9. Not doing it very neatly or anything, because once you start doing the blending, that's when you can kind of even everything out and make it look a lot nicer. So I blended out the C9 with the C7, and then I go in with the C5 and really start to blend everything out. And then finally on her hat and then the cauldron, I used C3 to really blend it all together a bit more. And that was it for that. And then for her dress, I'm doing BG05 and then going in with BG07, and then finally I'll be going in with BG09. Kind of an unconventional color combo, but I'm doing it again to match the pattern paper I'd chosen to use for this card. And I'm kind of liking that this Halloween season, some of the companies are coming out with color combos and adding like the aqua and teal to the Halloween, you know, the orange, red, orange, black, green, purple, and now a little bit of teal, and I'm really liking it. I think it's fun. So did all that, and then I decided to add just a little pop of green to the fumes coming from the cauldron. So I just went in with my YG21 and then added a little bit of YG25 and quickly blended those together. And then that was it for that. And then finally, just to finish everything off and to kind of ground the image, I'm just going to add a little bit of shading. So I went in with W1 first, laid that down. Then I took my W3 and just added that to where the darkest areas would be. And then I just quickly blended everything out with my W00. So super simple. And then I'm going to go on to the card itself. So yeah, I'm using the Graphic 45 pattern paper. This is the Steampunk Spells that I showed in a recent haul video. And that's where I got the idea to do the aqua kind of lighter orange black combo. So had to kind of lay out in mind before I started this card. So I cut all my strips, adhered them onto the card front, and then kind of figured out how I wanted the circle to go. I kind of knew I wanted it to hang off the edge a bit so that I could trim it off. That's why I stamped and then die cut the image off center. So figured out how I kind of wanted that, and then I'm going to add some ribbon. And this is just my favorite, like my AmyR's Textures ribbon, which I just love. And the yellow one is perfect for this pattern paper collection because there's a kind of a yellowy color in the collection that is almost the exact same color. So that just worked out perfectly. So just wrapped it around the card front, tied that in a bow, and then I'm going to mat that with another piece of just pattern paper that I had flipped over, so it's just the yellow side showing, and that's where you'll be able to see that how the ribbon and the pattern paper basically perfectly match each other. So it's kind of fun sometimes when that turns out without a whole lot of effort. So got that added onto there, and now I'm going to adhere the main image. So I'm just applying adhesive on the area that's actually going to be on the card front. So I'm not just wasting a whole bunch of adhesive. And it helps too sometimes. You can hold it up to the light to see the light shining through, so you can kind of give a guide so that you're not cutting off any of the stamped image. Although really it wouldn't matter if you did, depending on how you wanted your card to look. But yeah, did that, flipped over the card front, and then just used that as a guide to cut the circle where I wanted it. And then I found 3 jumbo brads in my stash that, again, were almost the perfect shade of yellow. I think these are like some basic gray ones that were in some random collection from years ago. But yeah, they were like the perfect shade of yellow. So I used my little Stampin' Up! Matte pack to guide the holes for it, and then stuck those through. And then the sentiment is again from the Bewitching a la Mode set, so I'm just going to ink it up with my VersaFine Onyx Black, and then I had a little strip of the yellow pattern paper left over from cutting the front. So stamp that, and then I just used my paper trimmer to trim off the edge. You could use a pair of scissors, works just as well. But got that done, adhered that, and then I'm done with the card front. So I'm going to adhere that to the card itself, and just used a piece of tape over the back of the brads because they're so close to the edge of the paper there that I wanted to make sure the adhesive stuck. So just put a piece of tape over those so that the ATG would just glide right over it. And then my card base is just some, I think it's taken with teal from Stampin' Up, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's still available or not, I haven't checked yet. But yeah, I did that, and then on the inside of the card, I just die cut another pierced circle, and then I inked up the main image again. This is with the Memento Bahama Blue ink, and I'm going to stamp it off once onto scratch paper, just so it's not so dark, and then that way it's just a light image of the main image, and that way you can write over it, and it's not going to kind of compete with, you know, if you're using a blue ballpoint pen or anything like that. And then I had leftover pieces of pattern paper from what I used on the front, so I just cut those down a little bit to use on the inside of the card. Did the same layout, just kind of flipped it around a little bit, and then adhered the circle and just let a little bit of it hang off because I wanted more on the inside so that there's more space to write. So trim that off, and then I stamped a second sentiment in the a la Mode set onto the remaining piece of yellow pattern paper, and then I'm just going to trim that down and adhere that to the inside of my card. So really fun, really cute. I'm glad you guys are really enjoying this Halloween series so far. I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I can't wait to start getting some more done and uploaded for you guys. So yeah, as always, there'll be a link below to my blog post with links to all the supplies used, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!